Oh wow. Oh my. All right. Oh, my shirt is the blackness. The blackness of it is making me slightly transparent. I'm a ghost. But my arm, it's just the inside. Oh Lord, I'm a hollow. Oh, let me my get my notebook. We're gonna get a notebook. We're going to. What is this? New updates. Anyway, let me turn on the rain. I can't stand the rain. It's my window, and I can't stand the rain. It's my window, and I can't stand the rain. I could have sworn I had some rain. It's my window, and I can't stand the rain. It's my window. And I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand. Oh, I forgot to look at my Discord, and somebody was telling me to look at my Discord because it was what's that boy name? It's something you'd be open to. We. I'm about to be a voice actor, y'all. And I can't stand the rain. I'm a to be a voice actor. Hmm. And I can't stand the rain. Mm. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. I can't stand the rain. What? People put work in progress stuff in here. I don't click it. I don't know what this is about. Honestly, this guy says in the Discord, he put, I honestly feel stuck. Building the product wasn't the hardest part. It feels like figuring out the launches, API cost, hosting, database payment setup. Every decision feels expensive or overwhelming. Well, I can even afford to launch it. I'm pretty sure you can afford. Hold on. I don't know what you can afford. Oh, stream remote now. Hmm. And I can't stand the rain. Oh, I'm dehydrated, y'all. It's giving desert conditions in a wet place. Okay, so since nobody's here, I guess I'll just talk about whatever I want to talk about while nobody's here. So recently, I have come to the conclusion about certain things, certain happenings. I'm coming to August 31st. By August 31st, I will be in my new apartment. And for a lot of different reasons. And tomorrow's my 35th birthday, so I'm feeling very introspective. And I think I like to do these little talks before I start studying or whatever. So there's a few things that I've gathered. There's a few things that I've gathered from the last, because I think I've been at this job for about 3 months now. Um, so I got hired on the 20th of April. And I'm gonna ask Claude. I can ask Google. How many days has it been since I got hired? April 20th. How many months is that? 3 months and 5 days. From Turkey. What's up? Okay, so I've been at this particular job. I feel like, you know what, I want to let y'all know, if you turn on monetization on your YouTube channel, usually it gets you more views if that's your thing. I don't really care. So I've been working at this job for about, it's been 3 months and 5 days. And since I started that position, I've learned a lot in my personal life, and I've learned a lot in a professional setting. And let's start on the things that I've learned in the professional setting. Obsidian. I haven't used Obsidian in a while, but we're gonna do it today. Your name is extremely familiar. I don't remember you. No, I do remember you, but hold on. Okay. Yes, Eclipse. I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. I turn 35 tomorrow, so I'm gonna be talking about some stuff before I study. Just going over some things. So we're gonna things I've learned in the last 35 years of existing on Earth. Okay. Okay, so the things I've learned in the last 35 years of existing on Earth. Okay, let's start with the last 2 months. um, so for context, in the last 2 months, I got a position, and I started in HR, and I started interacting with a lot of different elements that some of them I could grasp because maybe there's other skills that I had that are related to those, and then there's certain things that I'm learning that I knew I needed to learn, but now I have to learn them. Um, okay, so I'm gonna say things I've learned in the last 2 months. Um, Number one, um, connections with people matter. Um, the reason and connections with people matter because it, number one, and I'm talking, well, I'm gonna say healthy, healthy connections, because there's all different types of connections. Healthy connections with people matter. Why? Okay, so why do they matter? Healthy connections with people matter because, number one, it helps you get shit done, right? It helps you get shit done. You build a good rapport with people. You can make a call. You can get shit done. Actually, no, I don't think I can write this while I'm gonna just have to freestyle it. I can't go through a list and stuff. All right, I'm sitting in my bunker. All right, things I've learned in the last 3 months. Number one, connections with other people, especially in a professional setting, matter a lot. Um, Especially when it takes several different people over 2 or 3 departments to get anything done. There has to be a good rapport there, or there has to be a system in place that people believe in and abide by. 2, do not over explain yourself. Um, I made in my at work and in my personal life made the lackluster decision because I was under the impression that, again, if you bring a certain degree of logic and evidence to a situation, that in some ways the other person will say, "Oh, I got that. I understand it," or they'll be willing to like kind of, like say, "Okay, well maybe I need to go back to the drawing board." That person, that's not the case. Um, I think a lot of people don't get that sometimes people aren't in the positions to actually receive the information that you're giving them, and it's our job as people who are trying to get things done to assess whether or not they have the ability to absorb, not only absorb what you're saying, but the willingness to act on it, right? A lot of people, there's a lot of people who don't even want to hear you. So there's no action that's going to take place. There's a lot of people who hear you but aren't going to act on it, right? And that can be a tricky one. Then there's people who hear and act, and no, that's where you wanna focus your energy on, because focusing your energy on people who not gonna listen, or that you feel like you have to over explain yourself, is it's just not gonna work. Number 3, um, and this one is more gender specific. If you are a male, if you are a male, do not, and it depends on the woman that you're dealing with, and I mean this in a professional and a personal setting. Do not over explain yourself to women. Do not, do not, do not over explain yourself to a woman ever. And let me tell you why. It's not because women don't have, women are, if not as smart, or don't women, aren't women more educated than most men in America, right? Women are more educated than most men in America. However, there's a few cultural elements and societal elements that may like complicate the issue between men and women in professional and personal settings. If you are a guy and you, and a lot of guys think this way, they think that if they just give evidence and facts, and if they just present it in a certain way and they explain their why they're doing certain things, that it'll work. If you are doing that with a woman, I want you to stop today. Because none of that matters. None of that matters. Once you can present something and they will immediately tell you exactly how they feel about it, right? And once they tell you how they feel about it, take that at face value and just leave it alone. Because going trying to explain yourself, and I've done this at work, trying to explain yourself, and again, I wanna preface this, it really depends on the person. Trying to explain yourself to women who have already made their mind about how they feel about you, especially at work, and especially at work, will not result in a behavior change, and 9 times out of 10 nothing will get done. Yes, and so it works with certain people. That's the thing. It works with certain people, and the reason I'm bringing gender into it is because I'm in predominantly. How about explaining things to a man? how about explaining things to a man? I Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you this. You can't explain anything to a man who is filled with a certain degree of anger. If he is angry, like if he has like for example, I have an associate, and he has this anger towards women that I don't understand. Well, I get it, but I'm from the college of, okay, we're gonna add balance to a situation. We're gonna look at it from both sides. He has this anger towards women that is like that has some logic to it, right? But it's the way that he goes about it, and there's really no nuance to it. It's very black and white. And so what happens is that because there's no nuance, he begins to put women in certain boxes. As soon as they show even one thing that he doesn't like, he immediately dismisses them. There's no nuance. There's no understanding for that. Um, he's arrogant. He's prideful, and he won't. He's angry. So again, he explaining how do I feel about in and again, I can't really talk about this because I've never been the opposite gender explaining myself to a man, right? I've never What's up, Rohan? I've never been in a position to where I've been a woman and I'm explaining something to a man. So I can imagine, but I will tell you this: I had a friend in the military, and he might watch this one day. And I remember, and if sometimes all you can do is laugh. He said to me that there was this black woman, and she was having like a TED talk type of situation, and she was making a lot of sense. And he said that oh yeah, everything's good. How's everything with you? He said that he would not listen to that woman simply because she was not attractive. I have never felt that way, and when I heard that, I paused. I was like, oh my, this man. And you know what? He was so nonchalant about it. Like it was just like every day. And you know what? For all intents, you would think he's a good dude. Outside of, but it's like it was almost like he didn't give reason for it, and there's no really good reason for it. All he could do is say, "I'm not about to listen to her." That was it. That's the programming. That's where he comes from, and he was raised by a woman. So I don't fucking know. I don't. Shout out, you know who you are. You know who you are, Mr. Hawaii, Mr. Dolphins. I'll never forget that as long as I live. But I will say that there are some men who will not listen to a woman simply because she don't look a certain way. It don't matter what she say. It don't matter what she say. I've heard that some men will not listen to a woman unless she's attractive, and that's unfortunate. And some men just have it programmed into them that you just don't let a woman lead, which is why we can have competent women running for president, and then they don't get elected, right? Simply because they feel like a woman is not going to. And again, now we get into the subject of like the programming, the things that people gather that they might not, because I don't think his intent, and that's another thing that we have to talk about is intent versus unconscious programming that's going on in the background. And so I don't think his intent is to harm women, but somewhere along the line, along the cultural indoctrination, or along the societal indoctrination from K through 12, he began to feel that there is no reason for him to really listen to a woman unless she's attractive. And so again, that speaks and there's a lot of men that feel that way. So there's something connected there. Now let's go to women and men trying to explain themselves to women. There's certain women who have an idea on what a man is supposed to do, act, feel like, and portray themselves as. And if you don't necessarily fit that build, and I don't just mean the build in a sense of physicality, although physicality does matter, they will not listen to you. One thing I've noticed, a woman tends to look at things emotionally way more than a man. Not all women know. No, well, I don't want to. I want to say that, but I don't want to say that as well, because this idea that women are more emotional than men is ill-founded. Because I promise you, go to any prison in the world and it will be predominantly men who have made emotional decisions. Think about it. Go to any jail, any prison around the world, and you will see a whole bunch of men who have made emotional decisions that have landed them in situations that they don't want to be in, unless they just wanted to be around a whole bunch of musty men in a prison cell with nasty food. You know what I mean? Now, I'm oversimplifying something extremely complicated because there's backstories, there's backgrounds, but for the most part, you'll see a lot of emotional men in prison. So I will never co-sign with the idea that women tend to look at things more emotionally than men. That's just not the case. I think that both men and women have a propensity to feel a certain way and then try to gather facts to support that. Um, Back to this the idea that not over explaining yourself to women. Um, Number one, over explaining yourself puts you in a position to where you have to prove something to that other person. Now, there's certain times where you explain, what's going on and this and that and that and the other. But I'm starting to see that once somebody has shown you who they're going to be and what they're going to be, you'll start to see a trend of them making certain decisions out of that. And what do I mean by that? If the person has decided that a certain group of women have a problem, then that will kind of blanket all of their interactions with that group of people, right? And data from the Bureau of Justice Statistics shows that about 41.1% of people in prison grew up in single mother households. And I'm not about to say those women didn't do a good job, because I work with single mothers and they do an amazing job and they care about their children 100%. So, and you know what's crazy about that is that people would look at that statistic. They would say 41.1% of people in prison grew up in single mother households, and they would in some ways try to blame the mother, but not the father who walked away. And with I have a friend who I actually talked about this with, and I said, well, that doesn't talk about what the men have done, and he got extremely upset. And I was like, okay, well, I mean, there's a big picture. There's a huge picture that, couldn't be me. My mom would beat my ass. So it's just like, okay, so what we're doing right now, if anybody's just joining, we're talking about things that I've learned from 35 years. Do you have a coding job? No. I work in human resources. Um, Another thing, okay, so that's one of the things that I've learned in the last 3 months, that you can't over explain yourself to women, but it really depends on the woman. I find it that women, after, I'm not gonna put an age on it, but you can see the signs. There's certain women you can talk to, and they have that mechanism of self reflection. And how, and then now I'm thinking, how do you determine whether or not somebody has those mechanics within them? I guess it's by the things that they say. You know what I mean? Yeah, at least you have a job a lot. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad. What? I was just telling my boss the other day I'm about to go enjoy being employed. I literally said that. I said I'm about to go enjoy my employment because people don't have jobs out there. So, uh, no complaints for me. I'm getting a check, and I'm at work. But I guess the only thing that I'm having issues with at work now is certain office politics and how to navigate that, because I was under the impression that if you just give people the logic and the facts and the material, they would come around and understand things. But people, I'm going to say it right now, a lot of people don't care about the facts or the feelings. They care about, are you ready for this? They care about being comfortable. They care about their comforts. They care about what makes them feel good in the moment. they can't really look outside themselves because the voices are too loud for them to actually focus on other people, or at least could try to connect with people in a way that says, you know what, I wonder how this person is living their life. You know what I mean? Have you ever sat down and you'll know when there's a switch in you, because some people who are young are still in a mode where they're not thinking in this way, and I don't know when I started to click, but I know it took me a long time. When you start making decisions and factoring in how that will affect people's daily lives, not just, their feelings in the moment, but but thinking about how that decision will affect their daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly lives. That, I think that's a shift for me, and I did that unknowingly. I don't think I always thought like that. I always was like, I was very reactionary for most of my life. Okay, so I think we got the whole "don't explain yourself to women" thing. I don't think I gave it enough evidence, but go out into the world and start over explaining your ass to women and watch the different reactions you're gonna get. A remote tech job is ideal where you don't have to deal with office politics. Sadly, it's coming to an end now with employers having power now because of the job market. And that's fine. Nothing, a remote job is beautiful, but there's cons to having a remote job. There's a certain, I feel like having, because I had my remote was my last position was semi remote and for a short period of time, but I could see myself kind of being lazy about it. You know what I mean? Like working remote, I don't know if it's everything. I don't know if it's everything it needs to be. So, um, I think there's an advantage to going and getting up every day and seeing people, right? We live in these essentially apartment tower things, and or some type of home, some type of living arrangement, and for a lot of guys out there, because there is a loneliness epidemic, a lot of guys aren't getting that in person interaction. So y'all need to go out there and fucking talk to people anyway. Shit. Like go up to somebody at the gym and say hello, bitch. So I had a remote job over the past 3 years, and it definitely gets you after a while. I felt hella lonely. Yeah, there's pros to seeing people, and there's cons to seeing people. And we live in an age where like I have two of my friends. I've never met them, and I've known them for 6 to 7 years, and I'm desperately trying to see them at this point because like I feel like if I don't see them, then what are they? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'll go into that later. So we're talking about things I've learned in the last 35 years of living on this planet. The second thing that I've learned is people judge you on your appearance. People judge you on your appearance. People judge you heavily on what you look like. I have been fat. I have been extremely in shape. I have been fat again. And I have been, oh, I want to meet you too, Raw. And I've been extremely out of shape. I think a lot of people are suffering with social anxiety now. Male and female relations have deteriorated. Um, I think there's always been war between the sexes for centuries, but I don't think that you can hear it in some of those Greek and Roman philosophers when they make comments. Google philosophers from Greece and Rome and other places, their comments on women. This is nothing new. Look at some of the like Jung and Freud and certain would you call those people philosophers or psychologists or whatever? Either way, you're 35. Looking at you, I thought you were early to mid 20s. I didn't do drugs, and I ate snacks, so I'm round. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Your appearance matters. It takes a certain type of person to look at who you are and start from there and take the time to get to know you. But for the most part, the majority of people alive today, here and now, are going to judge you based on what you look like. And you will be able to get more done based on what you look like. And that is not just about race or color or anything like that. It goes into weight, height, the way that you present yourself, the clothes that you have on. a lot of this, a lot of this shit. And again, this is coming from somebody who's been fat, fit, fat, fit, fat, fit, fat, fit. People judge you based on the way that you look. You can be a person who really has no skills. You could be dumb, okay, and really have the only redeeming qualities about you could be titty and ass, right? And you will get further than somebody who has a master's degree. Yeah, some of my opinions do change. They change as I change. So, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So, how you present yourself and how you look definitely dictates how people treat you. And I've seen people who are extremely in shape get preference. I've seen people who are black get preference. I've seen people who are white get preference. I've seen people who are male or female get preference. I've seen people who are gay get preference. Okay? Those physical things about you, the things that you can provide to people, the comfort that you can give them will dictate how they treat you. And so for some people, they get into the school of psychology of manipulating that shit. And so they try to become something that allows them to kind of manipulate people. That's why you have these people that are looks maxing, not brain maxing, not health maxing. I see a rise in health maxing though. I saw that word the other day. Not looks maxing, right? Jawline, okay? Because that's what people can see, and the reason that's so popular is because people um, are heavily motivated by their sexual attraction or to what looks good or is deemed beautiful, right? They feel like it gives them a certain social ignition, some fire, some clout, if you will, some social clout by being in association with somebody who is of a certain way. So that's the thing. What else have I learned? Um, uncontrolled human nature. No, I didn't say uncontrolled human nature. I don't think it's uncontrolled human nature. It's very controlled because what was deemed beautiful 50 years ago is not the same as what it is today. And so people can be programmed to believe that certain things are beautiful. And then through that programming, they go out into the world and they give preference to certain people. Who profits from that shit? And what's the goal? Anyway, what else shall we talk about? I need to look up the halo effect because I don't really understand it. Let's look it up now. We're gonna have a learning day. We're just gonna look up stuff and talk about stuff. Okay, so Opus Medium. Yeah, do not put this shit on extra. And if you need to put it on any other thing besides medium, high, like if it needs to be above medium, ask Claude itself. Hey, do you need a more intense model to handle this particular task? Okay. Okay, so let's see. The halo effect is a cognitive bias where your overall impression of a person or thing influences how you feel about their specific traits. In short, one positive quality bleeds over and colors your judgment of unrelated qualities. The classic example, we tend to assume that attractive people are also kinder, smarter, or more trustworthy, even though appearance tells us nothing about those traits. The single positive attribute, attractiveness, creates a halo that makes us rate everything else about them more favorably. The term was coined by psychologist Edward Thorndike in 1920. He noticed that when military officers rated their soldiers, a soldier judged favorably on one trait like physical appearance or bearing tended to be rated highly on unrelated traits too, intelligence, leadership, and loyalty. The ratings were suspiciously correlated, suggesting the officers weren't evaluating each trait independently because you are not judged independently. You are judged based on a lot of different shit. Some common places it shows up hiring and interviews. And this is what I'm studying right now. And this actually happens. And people try to call it a culture fit, which is some fucked up shit. A culture fit is just a candidate who is well dressed or went to a prestigious school may be assumed to be more competent overall. Is the computer science at Harvard different than the computer science at a regular state school? I don't know. I don't know. Marketing and branding. A company known for one great product benefits from the assumption that its other products are also great. Celebrity endorsements work partly on this principle. Like, what's a company that makes an amazing product, but the one of their other products is like actually shitty? Adobe. Education. Teachers may grade a well-behaved student's work more generously. Yeah, because you making her fucking life or his life a lot more fucking easier just by being friendly. I'm telling you, and I have used this while going to school. Befriend your professor, greet them, ask them how they doing, spark up a conversation, actually be interested in their life, okay? And I promise you, that grade, some of them things will be smoothed over a little bit, right? And I feel like um that's not cheating. Because you earning that. There's a certain I'll go into that later. Everyday judgments. A friendly, likable person is often assumed to be more honest or capable than they actually are. A likable person is often assumed to be more honest or capable than they actually are. This is true. Just because somebody is nice doesn't mean that they're being honest or that they have the skills, right? There's also a flip side called the horn effect or reverse halo, where one negative trait makes us judge everything else about a person negatively. The reason it matters is that it distorts decision making. It's why structured interviews, blind evaluations, and standardized criteria exist. They're deliberate attempts to stop a single salient impression from contaminating our judgment of everything else. Want me to go deeper on any particular application, like how it affects hiring decisions? No, we're not gonna go up into that today. But the way that, but again, if you come, but again, you could be the most amazing employee, right? But if you come to an interview with wrinkled clothes on, it don't matter because that seeps into their impression of you, right? And so, but you see, even though we know the halo effects if effect exists, nobody is ever gonna say, "Hey, don't show up to an interview without a suit or some type of dress clothes on," right? Because the halo effect is gonna be alive and well into the end of the earth. Well, or until a catastrophe happens. That's typically the only thing that changes internalized bias and bullshit. So let me go back to my station on the outer worlds. Are you developing a game? No, unfortunately, I'm trying to develop my soul, which is not as entertaining, but a little bit more profitable. As a person living in the reverse halo effect has done me in a few times, but it gives you advantage. You live in you the reverse halo effect is the horn effect. In a few times, but it gives you an advantage because it clears soul BS. Hmm. Um. Okay. So what we gonna talk about? Okay. So we talked about appearance matters. So we got appearance matters. Appearance matters. That's why I'm going to the gym because I realized that I can be good at any job I'm given. But now I'm at the people part. The people part is the part that I struggle with. The actual talk, I don't have a problem with necessarily talking to people, but once I reach a level where logic and all those things don't matter, I have a hard time letting certain things go. Especially when I have a goal in mind and I know that goal, like I can have a lot of righteous fury within me. So I'm trying to work on that. I have a problem with that. And from what I understand, I have a problem with the word no professionally. Okay, when it comes to work, not anything else. Okay, just work. When it comes to solving problems and snacks. Okay, all right. Your personal take on C++ language saw you looking into it a while ago. I don't have any particular after coding for those 150 days. I see now why people say the programming language just does not fucking matter. It's what you want to create that matters. Like it don't matter the language that you make. Like if I was making a game, of course I'm going to care about the engine and the ease of portability to different platforms, right? But the coding language, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck about the coding language? It just depends on what you're trying to do with it. Like if you're doing embedded systems, you're not gonna use Python. There's more C and C++ documentation there. There's more support in those languages, right? So how fun is the language? I never feel I never felt like, oh no, I never felt like I'm having fun when like, I don't look at it as something. I just look at it as a puzzle. You said coding language do matter. I never said that it doesn't matter. I said that it doesn't necessarily matter. Hold on, did I say that it doesn't matter? Maybe I did, but I do to a certain. I do feel like it really don't matter. What matters is what, because the goal of software is to make people's lives easier, right? If the goal is to make people's lives easier, wouldn't you want it? I would think the way you build it would be something that would be like, if I had a team of people and I had a few different programming languages to choose from. Well, number one, which language has the most support for what we're trying to build? Second, or is there already a model for that? How does the team feel about it? What are their levels of expertise? How do they feel about it? And then, like, which one is the easiest to get what we need to get done, right? So I think at that point the language don't necessarily matter as much as which tool we're using. Maybe as a job, not as a hobby or something you like. Even as a hobby, why wouldn't I choose to? I want to get what I'm trying to get from idea to man. I'm trying to manifest an idea. I'm not worrying about the language. I mean, I don't think any, like, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that because, again, when I was coding heavier than I am now, like, people wanted to go into the language wars. The which language is this and which language is that. And that to me is just stupid. And it just adds unneeded noise to, like, it just adds some unneeded noise to everything else. Oh, which language? Because now it's not only which language do you choose, it's how can you get a job, and it's the economy and everything else. All that shit just, if you want to do web, we already know that's JavaScript, that's HTML, that's CSS, um, and a whole plethora of other languages. So I guess it just depends on what area of software engineering you want to go into, and then you go from there, right? Like, again, most people, and we talking outside of a hobby. If we talking about trying to go into the world and earn money from it through working for a business, and you want to go into a certain part of software engineering, then you're gonna learn the languages of that particular area, right? I don't think, now if I'm doing it as a hobby, I think even as a hobby, I don't wanna just, this is a, coding and getting things done is a polyamorous relationship. I'm not about to just marry JavaScript or marry Unity or marry C++ or anything. Whatever can get it done. Whatever can get it done. I don't give a damn. I'm not gonna be a fanboy for any of these languages. These languages don't give a fuck about me. So anyway, not which language is dead or good for getting a job, which language you felt comfortable writing it, building with it, and discovering it. I don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And I don't know how to really express this because it's not something that I necessarily concern myself with. I didn't see them as, I don't feel like any of them are comfortable. I don't feel like any of them are fun. I don't feel like any of them are. I don't know. Like it. I don't care about that. Hold on. Maybe there was a time where I said, is there a language that I hated? Yeah, no, I don't know if I think like that because I don't I never put I never felt like comfort. I never felt like the process of learning to code was going to be comfortable and that I should go in the direction of being comfortable. So I never thought about my comforts or the fun or the discovery of it. I never felt that sense of, the only time I actually feel good is when I see it move something on the screen. That's when I feel good. So whatever gets me to actualizing an idea or manifesting an idea or seeing that idea right then and there, that's what matters. I don't care. I don't subscribe to any language. I don't care. I don't find CSS, HTML, JavaScript, again, maybe the first two or three that I just named aren't languages to some people, but I never felt that those were fun, exciting. I just like to see shit on the screen. I just like people to use the shit that I make. I don't care about none of that other stuff. That's why I like my job so much. Yeah, they're just tools to me. Yeah, they just like, I make a whole bunch of Excel stuff at work to make their lives easier. I don't actually care how I did it or what language I would have had to use to make it happen. Whatever gets it in their hands and them feeling like it's of value is important to me. I don't care about none of that shit. What I was about to say. What's another thing I've learned in the last 35 years? Be independent. Have your own shit. I have made the egregious mistake, because of trauma, because of my own poor decisions, because of my lack of understanding of people and the world, and a whole host of other factors. I have meandered through a state of semi independence. Can get a job, wasn't able to hold a job, was going here, was going there. Even the roof that's over my head right now is something that's provided to me. I still have to pay a certain amount, but it is through a certain degree of labor and kindness and now money that I keep this place, that I keep this roof over my head. And it's not going to last for a lot longer because the kindness went out there once I begin to over explain myself on shit. And that's why I'm saying that sometimes, and to backdoor on the over explaining part, sometimes it's just not worth to explain. It's worth more to let it go than it is to explain. And we'll get into letting it go next, because letting it go is extremely powerful. Being independent is extremely important. If you are a man in most cultures and you don't have shit, a lot of people will not respect you. They just don't. I've been the dude on the side of the street hoping that somebody was going to give me something, sitting there, right? And people, it's not that they don't care about you. It's just that they're not worried about that. They worried about their own lives. So you just become something that is just irrelevant, right? And that irrelevancy carries over into some of the things that you want to get done. So if you starting from the bottom, the real bottom, I'm talking about on the side of the street, you have a lot of things to overcome. If you grew up in poverty, you have a lot of things to overcome. Um, and to get to a point of independence is can be difficult if you don't have other people backing you up. And I'm gonna just be honest about that, right? Usually, when you see these streamers, there are a lot of rags to riches stories, but a lot of them come from good homes. Not all of them from the street. A lot of them come from some good homes, some stable environments. That's where most of the success in the country comes from. I think those middle class households, stable environment, not too rich, not too poor. So, anyway, independence is extremely important. People judge you based on, and independence provides you, especially if you're a man. Independence, having your own shit, and because I've had that at certain points in my life, and I've lost them, gives you a certain sense of peace. And you know that even at the end of the day, depending, and again, you can't always, if you independent and alone, that takes a certain type of mental fortitude. Um, Because some people, if they get their own shit, they can't be alone. They have to add all these different things to their lives. Because to sit with themselves is one of the hardest things. Because then they have to actually deal with their shit, which is something they avoid through being a busybody, or always on the phone, or always in the presence of people, and never in the presence of themselves. How about emotional independence? Let's look that up. Let's look up. Okay, because the reason I looked this up is because this can mean some different things for a lot of different people. So I think it's good if we just get, some type of foundation on what it actually is. Emotional independence is the ability to manage your own emotional life without being dependent on other people to regulate it for you, which is exactly what I was just talking about. It means your sense of stability, self worth, and well being comes primarily from within rather than being contingent on someone else's approval, presence, or mood. This is the reason that people suffer from narcissistic abuse, because they are not emotionally independent. And this is exactly what I was talking about just now. Because I'm an emotionally independent person. Again, we're talking about the ability to manage your own emotional life without being dependent on other people. What did I just describe? I described a person who can't sit alone, who always has to be busy, who always has to add something to their lives, because to sit with themselves is the hardest thing. A sense of stability, self worth, and well being comes primarily from within. The person that I'm describing is a person where none of this comes from within, but it comes from their interaction with other people and being in proximity to others. It's worth being clear about what it is not. Emotional independence does not mean being cold, bitch, detached, or not needing anyone. Humans are social creatures, and healthy relationships involve genuine interdependence, which is the next thing we're going to look up, which is emotional interdependence. Leaning on each other, sharing feelings, offering support. The distinction is between depending on connection versus requiring it to function, right? The distinction is between depending on connection versus requiring it to function. An emotionally independent person values relationships and feels things deeply, but they aren't destabilized when someone disapproves of them or when they're alone. Or when they're alone. Okay? So I have been the first part, but they aren't destabilized when someone disapproves. I have been that person because I'm a person who has suffered from narcissistic abuse. So I believe that to be loved and to be validated required a certain type of work. I believe that love could be bought through service, and that's not the case. People choose to love you, and I learned that I have to allow them to make that choice. The reality is that I didn't have that love coming from within. And so, what does that mean? I can't be alone. Well, at least back then, I couldn't be alone because I'm not doing the work necessary. So, I'm being dependent on other people for emotional regularity to regulate my emotions. I have no sense of stability and self worth. And if you have a sense of stability and self worth, you're gonna become not emotionally. I'm not gonna say emotionally independent, but you're gonna become independent. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna say, okay, well, I deserve certain things. There's a certain lifestyle that I want to live. There's certain things that I want to have in my life. Right. Okay. Some things it tends to look like in practice. Self validation. You can feel okay about a decision or about yourself without needing someone else to confirm it's right. Some people, this is healthy, but some people have it to a frightening degree and it becomes fucking arrogance. Self soothing. When you're upset, you have ways of processing and calming yourself rather than needing another person to fix your emotional state. That means saying nice things to yourself, bitch. Don't Kristen back coding and hitting us with that life wisdom. I was thinking about you, I think 2 weeks ago, last week, and then a little bit this week And I mentioned you in a stream because I was like, I wonder what these girls are doing because it was you and Angela. I was like, I wonder what they're up to. I haven't checked your channel because I think you probably know or you don't know that I started a job 3 months ago, and so I've been out of the loop. I just been focusing on grinding that job and learning what's necessary to work. But let me see where you at. Let's see how good you're doing. I bet. Let me see. I hope you're doing fine and you're healthy and everything's going great. Let me look. Go to channel. Okay, you doing good. Okay, 5K. Okay, all right. 527 videos. You know what? I really feel, and I've always felt this way. And I told, because one of my coworkers was asking me, did I want to do YouTube? No, she was telling me that she did want to do YouTube. And I was like, it's going to be one of the best decisions that you ever. Angela is good. I said, we watch it. Okay, that's good. And I said, it's going to be one of the best decisions you ever make. And it's a legacy. People always think legacy can be children. Legacy can be the things that you could commit to the world. And I feel like this is a big commitment to the world. This is something you've given to society. They're gonna look back and they're gonna be like, man, I don't know if you consider yourself a black girl or because I don't actually know your race. You one of them light-skinned, androgynous raced people. You could be anything. You could be Mexican, Colombian. You could be black. You could be a whole bunch of shit. Like, where the fuck you? We don't know where she's from, y'all, but she's from Earth. She's from the planet Earth. Race unknown. Place of origin unknown. She just, yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad you out here. Angela be telling everyone that you got a coding job, but I never. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to go into one of Angela's streams and let her know, girl, I did not get a coding job, but thanks. I work in human resources. But I wonder has she watched some of these videos and maybe she feels like, well, he's doing a little bit of SQL on the job. He's doing Excel formulas and stuff. Maybe that's a little bit of coding, Because I'm trying to go into human resource information systems. What were we talking about? Okay. Self-soothing. When you're upset, you have ways of processing and calming yourself rather than needing another person to fix yourself. This also goes into how you talk about yourself, you dumb bitch. Are you? Yeah, I'm talking about self-soothing and I'm calling you a dumb bitch. This goes into like what are you saying to yourself? Do you need to call a friend every time you go through something? Yeah, dude, I feel bad telling her because she's all excited and stuff, so you break the news. I'll break the news. I think she'll still be happy I'm employed because, I mean, I learned recently that the unemployment percentage that the government posts out isn't real. And it's not what people would assume that the unemployment rate is everyone who's unemployed. I'm going to link y'all to a video that broke that shit down, and I was like, oh shit. They lying. Out their ass. Okay. Taking responsibility for your feelings. Recognizing that your emotions are yours to manage rather than blaming others for making you feel a certain way while still holding people accountable for genuinely harmful behavior. This person did some stupid shit and I'm hurt, but I also take responsibility for because sometimes when I'm hurt, I'll say, you know what, this is an opportunity for me to be a little bit more resilient. But I am going to tell that other person, bitch, don't do that again. Those things can exist in the same place. I can take responsibility for my emotions. Taking responsibility for my emotions doesn't mean I'm taking responsibility for their bullshit. And then I can call them out. So, yeah, I don't want to feel this way. I'm going to work towards not feeling this way. This person has said something that I feel is hurtful. Why do I feel like it's hurtful? I can do that work myself. But bitch, I'm still gonna call that dumb shit that you did out. You dumb bitch. Taking responsibility for your feelings. Hold on, no. Boundaries. Boundaries. You can say no or disagree without being overwhelmed by fear of the other person's reaction. This takes practice. I feel like AI and Claude, because Claude doesn't have a coochie or a dick, it doesn't know how it feels to say no and not be used to saying no. So you have to practice that shit, and you have to go when you say no. This is how you practice saying no for people who don't know how to say no. You say no and then you don't explain it, and you don't try to, you just let it rest and you let that shit be awkward and you sit with it. Boom. I just summarized something that somebody else can on YouTube can explain in a very complicated way, but you got to be able to sit with that awkward shit. Okay. The opposite pole is emotional dependence, where a person's mood and self esteem rise and fall based on external factors. What if they ask why? I love that question. um, if they ask, so if I'm saying no, and let's say it's in my personal life, and I just said, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's not something that I'm gonna do. And they ask why, I'll just say that's not something that I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna reiterate what I just said. I'm not gonna do that. Bam. I do that during email too. When somebody sends me an email and they're like being some like I have somebody at my job who is pissy in emails, I literally copy and paste the email that I sent them originally as the reply to what they just responded to. I'm not about to act out of character. You read that and you felt some type of way, and now you trying to get me to feel some type of way. You are trying to cross a boundary. I'm not gonna let you cross that boundary. I'm gonna be firm in that. But is that what we're talking about? Oh, you said if somebody says no, I'm gonna just say the same thing again. No, I'm not doing that. No, there's a meme for this. Exactly. I'll do. That's how I'm gonna say that in my mind. The did I stutter part, but I know that if depending the why could be a genuine. I need to understand what's going on, or it could be like, how could why are you saying no to me? I ain't gotta explain why I'm saying no to you. Just like people don't, and you, but the reverse is also true. If you can say no to people and feel comfortable, you have to be able to receive that no. Ooh, and that's hard. It hurts to receive a no. I won't lie. Like, but it makes us stronger people. What do you think about lying for the sake of the other person's emotion? Lying for the sake of the other person's emotion? Give me an example. It depends. Like, I don't like. Let me tell you something that I despise as a man, as a human being, as a person who exists, an entity that exists in this. In oh yeah. I did. I feel very. What do you think about lying for the sake of other people's person's emotions? Man, I still do this, but I'm starting to like really get out of that. Like for example, when people come and they ask me like they're getting dressed for an event and they ask me how they look, sometimes I'll just flat out say I don't want to be a part of this. You wear whatever the hell you want to wear. Leave me out of it. That's how I actually feel. You know what? Saying that is the hard part. But in the long run, they'll know not to come to you for that shit. But you also have to be okay with what it means for them not to come back to you for that shit. Because I want to I want to feel like I'm dependable, but at the same time, bitch, don't ask me how you look. I don't give a damn. Let's go. Or if your girlfriend asks, "Do I look fat?" Do you lie or tell the truth? Don't. I'm a say this. Okay, if we together and you fat, don't ask me that because I'm gonna tell you. Have you gotten big since first we met? Hell, motherfucking yeah. Am I still with you? Yes. Take that and deal with it how you want to, and don't ask me that dumb shit no more. Period. Don't ask me that dumb shit. You know, and if you asking me that shit, then obviously there's some wheels turning in that mind. But that's who I am. Like if somebody was with me, they would know that's how I am. So they have chosen to be with that shit. Some people want to be lied to, but don't ask me that shit. Don't ask me. Don't ask me that shit. Don't ask me. Don't ask me because honestly, I don't care about how you look. I care about when you put on clothes. I don't care about that shit. What I do care about is how comfortable you are when you're wearing them. It's hot as fuck outside. Do y'all know how hot it is in Texas? Roha lives in Texas. It was so hot outside the other day, mind you. I live near bodies of water, and it was up exceeding 100 degrees outside. I was riding my bike. It felt like, you know, when you lift up an oven, right? Imagine there was an oven and there was boiling water in that oven, and then you opened the oven and all the air whooshed into your face. That's what it feels like in Texas. That's what it feels like in my part of Texas. Why am I? Oh yeah, yeah. So the reason I said this is because I don't give a fuck if you look nice, bitch. Are you gonna have a heat stroke or not? That's what you should be worried about. Not if you look cute. Shit. Can we make it from the vehicle to the building we're trying to get into, bitch? Fuck. Okay. It's also worth noting that emotional independence exists on a spectrum, and the healthy. Okay, it's so damn hot the air needs a fan. I've never heard that. That's funny. The air needs a fan. It's so hot. You know what's crazy is that when we turn on a fan, it's actually telling the, because that's what air conditioning is. It's conditioning the air. The air literally needs a fan. Okay, okay. I wanna say something right quick. I wanna say something right quick that I just realized. This is something that people say on. They used to say this on the internet. It's so hot. Gangs aren't doing drive-bys with real guns. They're doing it with water guns. That would be. You know what? There was a time we could do that shit. I don't know if they ever did it in your city, but niggas would be running in the streets just shooting water guns. We can't do that anymore. That's where we live. We can never go. Oh God, I just realized that. Just all that just makes me so sad. We can never have a impromptu water gun fight in the park without telling the authorities that they aren't real guns. Or can we? I don't know. Okay, so this is what I want to say. There's this idea, bro. I get all of this from this YouTuber I used to watch back in the day named DCIGS. He explains how hot it is in Texas perfectly. Yeah, it's so hot. I prefer Arizona heat to this. Black man angry at KFC. Is he still putting stuff out? Subscribe. Oh, I hope he's okay. Black man versus hurricane. Now he don't do videos no more. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna start voice acting. I think I'm gonna start voice acting for one of my friends. He gonna pay me. But he has a hot in Texas video. It's so funny. I'm gonna have to look that up. Hold on. Okay. Here's the thing that I want to say. Matching people's energy is some bullshit. Matching people's energy is some bullshit. And that's how people land in jail. Matching people's energy and die. Matching people's energy is some bullshit. And it's not healthy and it doesn't work. All it does is say that you could all it does is prove that you couldn't communicate how you felt in a healthy way. Hey, I don't like how you're talking to me. I don't like how you're acting, and how I don't like how it affects me, and it affects me in this way. I don't like that. And then being, because I had a friend the other day that said I was vulnerable with a friend, with what I thought was a friend, just to, because for some reason I have this habit of typing shit into AI and asking it what it thinks, and AI was like, "You need to be more vulnerable." I was like, "Okay, bitch." So I was vulnerable, and that person basically was said, "I don't care," and I said, "Well, I don't like the way I don't like what you said. It doesn't land well with me." And they said, "I don't care," and I said, "Oh, block." Hold on. Matching people's energy is some bullshit because when you match people's energy, it usually doesn't end well. Name a time where matching people's energy actually ends well and is actually success. I mean, if somebody's trying to assail you and you match that energy by defending yourself, hey, that's different. But I'm talking about like in petty shit. Oh, she wanna be a bitch? I'ma be a bitch. Oh, he wanna be a hoe? I'ma be a hoe. Okay, so now we both hoes. When really what you were trying to hold on, did you actually wanna be a hoe? You know, I I'm thinking about a lot of stuff because some people will do things like they'll get cheated on and then they feel like, okay, well then they'll cheat. And I'm like, did you always want to cheat? Because why would you cheat if they cheated? Bro, cooking up 1,000 cigarette adapter in blender and listening to Christian rant about life is a top experience on planet Earth. I'm trying. What's up, Jacob? I'm trying. I'm thinking about things because some people cheat because their partner cheated. But I'm wondering, like, did you always want to cheat, and why did you need to cheat if they cheated? And didn't why don't you just tell them that you didn't like that they cheat? Why don't you just leave? Well, you sometimes they can't leave. That's some complicated shit. I don't fucking know. What else have I learned in the last 35 years? Family don't matter. Family people label it as adaptability. If you wanted to be a hoe, don't wait till somebody cheats on you to be a hoe. You know, if you want to be a hoe, just be a hoe. You ain't got to be a hoe because what you did was just made the relationship more complicated. Why don't you just fucking leave? They cheated, leave. But that's not always the case for some people. Say there's a guy. They have 3 kids. The wife cheated. What is he supposed to do? Leave? Then the kids become fatherless. What you supposed to do? So it becomes complicated. I don't fucking know. I don't have the answers. What else have I learned in the last? Oh yeah, family will betray you. Friends will betray you and you will betray you. You betray yourself every day every time you eat that cookie that you know you were supposed to eat. I betray myself a lot. Look at this. It just tastes so good. Um, what else have I learned in this life? What can I talk about? Going blocking everybody and not talking to no one is one of the worst things that you can do. You think that for and I don't know why I used to think like this. And I can't really pinpoint why I thought that blocking everybody and going my own way wasn't going to in some ways change things, but it doesn't change shit. It doesn't work. And I think it of course it, there's nuance to this, but I don't think it works out how we think it's going to work out. You have to learn how to deal with people and you have to sit with your own emotions. Blocking them out ain't always going to work. It depends though. I don't know what else to talk about. Let me see. Oh yeah, I know. I know. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all can see this. No, y'all not gonna be able to see it because AI is horrible. Look at me. I done messed up the whole thing. And now, okay, now it's adjusted. Anyway, I'm gonna read this. Entry. I want y'all to think about this. Entry number, date and time of incident, date this entry was written, location, persons present, what occurred, effect on your work, what you did in response, supporting records. This is how you actually document issues that happen in the workplace. Do not, never, ever, 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 ever go to HR with just your feelings. Never go to HR with just your feelings. It don't work. It's never gonna work. If you don't have documentation, they always gonna win. Not HR, but whoever you complaining about. They just always gonna win. You need the date and time of the incident. You need the location it happened. You need the persons that were present. You need to enter what occurred, factual account. Okay, use direct quotes when you can recall them. This is not about feelings. This is about exactly what happened. The effect, the impact it had on your work. What you did in response, including writing this, and supporting documentation. Do not go to a place with just your feelings. They don't give a fuck. I'm telling you, man. If you are in a low rank at your job, man, they not gonna give a damn. They are not gonna give a damn. You better come with the you better come with the Carfax. The reason I said this is because unfortunately I had to send a log out on Friday of a person that is extremely problematic. Date, time, incidents, all that written out. Here we are. May God help that person, because they assumed wrong, because you fucking with a thug. All right. Put my titties up. What else I'm going to talk about? You got to start small, bitch, but you got to think big. You got to start small, bitch, but you got to think big. Hey. Maybe you can't study every day. Maybe you can't study for hours like some of the big dogs. But you can start small, bitch. Maybe you fat and, your ass is flappy. Well, you can go to the gym and do a few squats. I won't lie. I was going to the gym and I was lifting them baby weights and they had a man over there just grunting. Like he was making, I don't know what he was doing. Just yelling and screaming. I'm like, oh my God. This nigga fucking in the gym. But you gotta start small. Don't worry about everybody else. You put on them baby weights. Oh, by the way, this is something I want to talk about. And then I'm gonna go because my mouth is, I don't know if y'all know, I went to the dentist recently. Finally got somebody to look at my jaw. He did confirm that I have TMJ. And so as I talk, there's pain and I get tired because of the stress of having an underbite. What am I going? Oh fuck! I forgot what I was about to say. What was I about to say? Fuck. Oh Lord! I need to start writing this shit down. What was I about to talk about? It was something important. It was something big. It was something girthy. Did it have to do with work? Maybe as I just start talking about more things, I'll remember. So, I know I was talking about starting small. I know I was talking about the dude that was in the gym acting crazy. What else are we talking about? I don't know. I don't know. Do I have any questions for me? Any questions? I'll be 35 tomorrow. 35 years, and it does not feel like it. How do I feel at 35? Not as tired as I thought I was going to be, but I was tired at one point. I feel, I think most of the time, oh yeah, I think most of the time I feel exhausted by people. People exhaust me a lot, and I hate that I have to navigate them. Oh, congrats. I didn't even know you were 37. I didn't even know you were older than me. Congrats on your 37th birthday. We getting old. We're not getting old. We're seasoned. You know what I mean? We're we if we got a little seasoning on them drumsticks. Okay, on that thing. I, I forgot what I was gonna say. I feel like I know we were supposed to look up emotional interdependence, but I feel like I want to talk about how sometimes we let people get to us and we don't let things go. And I hope that all of us, including myself, learn how to let things go and become unemotional to a certain extent when it comes to our dealings. Because a lot of things could easily be handled just by letting things go. Um, I'm not saying let everything go, and letting go is going to look different for everybody. But sometimes I think it's easier to say what you have to say, leave it on the table, walk away, tell people how it's going to be or what it needs to be or how it's going to work with you, and then try to come up with a game plan that matches both of you and then move on from there. Second, if someone requests your assistance but then doesn't accept the assistance, leave it alone. Leave that shit alone. Let that shit go. I know that's happening to some of y'all, right? Where somebody asks you for your opinion, they ask you for assistance, they ask you for help, and then they don't accept the help, the assistance, or the opinion. Am I the only one that's? I know I'm not the only one. Um, Turning 23 after 2 weeks and a half, sometimes I feel like time is running out. Who got you feeling like time is running out? You just took your mouth off the breast. Who told you time was running out? For what? In what area? In what capacity is time running out? Or you feel that way? Did we talk about yeah, when people a big one. And one of my friends is probably in the chat. I'm not gonna say his name, but I have been knowing him for years. And throughout our friendship, I was trying to fix things. Kristen, when you gonna go into social work? Well, if I finish my master's degree, I could probably go into social work. But I don't want. That's a lot. Going into social work, going into counseling is extremely difficult, and they don't get paid enough. It's hard enough dealing with my own shit and dealing with other people's shit. No, 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 no. I spent my whole life dealing with older people older than me who don't know shit. Kristen, when you gonna go into okay? I don't know why you feel at 23 that things are not going to go well or not go well, but time is running out. I don't feel like time is running out. Time, you're 23. You don't have time is on your side as long as you're healthy and you don't get into some crazy accident. So my I don't so the point is that I don't want to go into counseling and having to deal with people's feelings and then realizing that in their own personal lives they already have people who are probably giving them good advice. But then they come to counseling and who's to say that they're necessarily ready to receive what I'm giving them? I don't want to have to battle with people in counseling. I watched my uncle have to battle with people in counseling, and that shit caused him to go on FMLA for like 3 or 4 months. He had to take. He was having a breakdown. Well, it looked like it was a breakdown. I don't want to have to go through that shit. Most people know what they need to do to get right. They just choose not to do that shit. Even me. Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. I'm not about to do that shit. I had a social worker walk up to my job the other day, and we were talking, and she was telling me she just don't understand how these kids get guns. I'm like, what the fuck? The kids are getting guns. I'm wondering where the kids are getting guns from too. She said she don't fucking know. I don't fucking know either. Internal feeling been built along the years by the external social factors. Probably not a specific reason I can point to and say that reason. And okay, that's fair. No, I haven't felt that time is running out. But what's a feeling that I've had that's probably something influenced by external slow social factors that I can't necessarily explain. Women, pretty much women, and yeah, I won't lie. That's yeah. Why do but I'm not saying the feeling that I have. Hold on, is it women? No, maybe it's is it racism? Is it prejudice? Something that I feel some type of way, but I just can't pinpoint why I feel that way about it. Maybe it's I don't really fucking know. But I haven't felt gender. I don't know if it's necessarily been gender. Something that I can't explain. My exhaustion with people, maybe because my maybe it's this feeling of exhaustion when it comes to people. I feel exhausted when it comes to people, and I think I've always felt that way. And while I could make a good argument as to why I shouldn't be exhausted or how exhaustion might not be the best tool in the toolbox for these situations, I don't know. I feel an overall exhaustion when it comes to people. Yeah, yeah, an overall exhaustion. I don't know. Okay, so what else did I want to talk about before I go? Um, yes, I'm glad you said that because I grew up with narcissists as well, and it does make socializing feel like I'm rolling a boulder up a hill, and it is tiring because in reality, and I've talked about this. Well, I don't think I've talked about this, but I feel like there's a mask that I've put on for so long that I'm not sure if it's me or the mask anymore. But I feel like when I talk to people that sometimes I don't want to talk to them, or I'm not sure if I'm being real or if they care, or maybe I don't care, or there's something that's there. Sometimes I just want to be robotic about it, especially at work. Sometimes, or even in my own personal life, I just want to be robotic about it. Do you need this? Yes or no? Okay. Do you want this? Yes, no? Okay. Do you want me to do this? Yes, no? Okay. This is how this could help. You want it? Yes, no? Okay. And then be done with it. But I do find, yeah, they do. They do. Because all that extra bullshit get on my goddamn nerves. Get in, get out. One thing I hate that I do is like sometimes I'll say something and then I'll check in with it. I'll check in with that person to make sure they're okay with what I said. I don't like that shit. I want to be okay with the awkwardness. Like I said what I said, I actually meant that, and I don't want to go back and try to ease the blow for them. Let them take that shit how they want to take it. They interacted with me. They know who I am. They know how I am at this point. Then they chose this. So yeah, and I'm tired of that shit. I'm really tired of that shit. And then another thing that I do that I don't like is that I know in my mind that there's a certain amount of interaction that I can have that will be healthy for me, and then there's a certain amount of interaction that I can have that will make me exhausted. But I'll always choose the communication that'll make me exhausted. Yeah, I used to say that a lot. Are you mad at me? 100% of the time they say no, and I damn well know they will say no, but I still need to hear it apparently. Yeah, and so I want to. Yeah, exactly, and I want to be okay with saying what I gotta say, and then go and sit down somewhere. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I said, and that's how I feel about it. And then go sit down somewhere. But it's this push to validate and explain and go in depth and explore and make sure they okay. What that really is, and I think you kind of know probably what it is too. And I think I kind of know what it is. I think we both kind of know what it is. Is that emotional dependence? It's like they're feeling about a certain way, and we've allowed that to dictate how we feel about our that relationship, our dealings with that person, and ourselves. I don't want to feel that way. I know I'm a decent, and it goes. It's like it's almost like maybe there's a part of ourselves that we can't see. Like I know I'm decent people. I'm not out there waving my dick across the landscape and having multiple children with multiple women and fucking everybody and spreading STIs and putting shit in my kids' names and going out there and snorting coke off stripper clits and doing all that extracurricular shit. I'm not out there selling guns to the youth and terrorizing people and doing all different stuff. I'm not doing none of that. I'm a decent person. All I do is come to my room and play my game and shit and go to work. And so why should I feel that I'm not a decent human being? Why do I always feel the need to over explain or validate or do this or do that? I know I'm good people and I know that my intentions are good. It should be enough that I feel that my intentions are good and settled. I don't need them to feel a certain way about me for me to feel good about me. That's what I'm working on. I don't need them to like me. I don't need them to be okay with my decisions. I need me to be okay with my decisions. For me, it's growing up with unpredictable responses when I had reasonable behaviors. Exactly. And so it was the same for me. I had reasonable behaviors, and if the context was me being a child, then and they didn't see I think the problem is that you grow up with a narcissist. Their feeling about themselves is linked to your behavior, and so you do maybe you did a bad child thing, but if the context is you being a child, then the behavior is understandable. But because they link that behavior to how they feel about themselves, now it becomes about them and not about you. And I think that's kind of what I'm talking about too. It's like, and so I go into adulthood, and I feel like, okay, I say something and I got to make sure they're okay, because historically, when I act a certain way, there's a certain consequence, right? If I'm not doing what they like or what they approve of or what's comfortable for them, then in some ways, now my shit is fucked up. And so I carry that into adulthood, where I feel like in order for me to be safe, in order for me to be safe and to feel peace, I have to make sure that they're okay. And what's crazy is that because we grew up in those systems, we'll try to we in some way, maybe unconsciously, get back into those systems as adults, because we that's what we know, that's what's familiar. And so now I'm saying no, and then I'm following up with, "Are you okay? What do you think about the no? Let me explain why I said no. Let me explain why I said this. Let me explain why this is going about." Because now I'm not being emotionally dependent. I'm saying that, okay, I need you to feel okay for me to feel okay. At least that's how I interpret it. So, oh, another thing, the idea of being a good or a bad person. Jeez, that shit will get skewed with people who have lived in households where they have experienced narcissistic abuse, or where they have been adultified as a child. If a child was made to be an adult, hold on, I forgot what I was about to say. I forgot how I was about to connect those things together. We are talking about narcissistic abuse, issues in the household, perpetuating systems that are toxic into our people do good things, people do bad things. Being good or bad is nonsense. Okay, yeah. And there's a lot of nuance to that. And so a lot of people who deem themselves good will actually go out there and have all these toxic behaviors. And while all these toxic behaviors might not hurt other people, what they do is put the person in a state of dependence, which is unhealthy, and also makes those other people outside of themselves carry their emotional baggage, and that's not fair. And so there's a lot of people who will think that they are good people, but what they actually are doing is hurting themselves, hurting other people through their inability to be emotionally independent. That's not a good person. That's a delusional motherfucker. And you can have delusional people who don't hurt people just as well as you have delusional people that do hurt people. But I guess we just focus on, best thing is when you go through a hard period in life and then you notice how it changed you positively. You feel like it's well worth it that you've got to experience all that. I'll couple that with something. It's interesting when you go through those experiences change you for the positive. You begin to see things a little bit differently. You begin to identify patterns in your behavior, but then you begin to see the patterns in other people's behavior, right? Let's say you realized that, like, you've always been that go-to person. You've been the person that everybody goes to, and you would do that even if you were tired, even if you couldn't. You would always rearrange your schedule so that other people would feel comfortable, regardless of how it puts you in a bind, right? And most of the time it will put you in a bind, but you just couldn't say no. Let's say you went through a difficult experience, and you begin to see that you saying no was a more healthy option. Let's just put it like that. The yes patterns, yeah. And let's say instead of adopting, let's say you went from subscribing to a yes pattern to something a lot more nuanced. And then you go out into the world and you're like, okay, this is way more healthier for me. Now I'm taking on things when I'm being more responsible. You're being more responsible about your time, essentially. And so those yes nos are filtered through, well, does this work for both of us? Instead of just does it work for that person? And so you begin to show yourself a little bit more kindness. There's some people that would look at that and feel some type of way because you went from having complete availability to a more structured availability, right? And then they now have a problem. And so that's something that I've been dealing with, which is where you have a certain degree of change. You begin to think differently. You begin to act differently. You begin to move differently. You begin to invest in yourself a little bit more, and that can trigger people. And I wanna make it clear that sometimes people will get triggered unknowingly. People will act in ways that they don't even know why. Just like somebody earlier said, I feel some type of way about. I'm 23, but I feel like time is running out, but can't really pinpoint why they feel that way. These people will act in ways that are malicious, but not even know, or toxic, or bad, and not even know it. And so that change in who you are, even in that small thing, can alter, can cause like a rubber band effect where they're just like, what the fuck? And then they act in a different way. And you're like, hold on, what's going on? And then you have to be ready to contend with the fact that they're trying to contend with this new version of you, and you have to contend with their reaction of this new version of you. I want to do people ever talk about that. Yes, I'm doing fine. Hello, Ruma. Oh, you changed your default. What's up, Ruma? So, I think what's about to happen is I'm about to play Digimon Time Stranger. I'm about to talk about shit. Play Digimon and talk about shit. That's what we doing. It's my party and I cry if I want to. It's my party and I cry if I want to, bitch. So yeah, I've been playing Digimon Time Stranger. Can y'all hear that? All right. Oh shit, that was loud as hell. Was that loud to y'all? So I was like, this was my birthday present to myself. This little game. I bought it off of By the way, I never buy games full price anymore. I always go to loaded. But and I want to let y'all know I skip cutscenes because I just can't. Oh my god, what's going on? Oh shit, they changed the whole camera and shit. What's going on? I want to get. Bitch, are you in a maid's uniform? Did y'all see that? Stop shoving. I can't see anything. What's the line? Female student. Well, I guess there's no seeing anything with this crowd. I just really want to know what's going on. I think I caught a peek. What's going on? What is this man doing? Are you okay? Oh my god. What is that? It looks like a rip in the sky. Oh, oh. I'm posting this online. Well, I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm not. Oh, I'm not against people posting shit online. The only people who get upset about setting boundaries are the ones who will benefit from you having that. Exactly. Now they have to contend with the fact that you have boundaries, and you have to contend with if you choose to. Hold on, what's going on? It's Minerva on. Is this too loud? Damn. You hit that concrete hard. I know you're a digital monster, but that looks painful. Are we about to fight? What is this? Dark Greymon?
Right, Egg Thief. It's kind of your fault things turned out this way. So take some responsibility and help us out. And you better believe what I'm saying, or your world is in big trouble too.
Yeah, it can be hard to grasp, but it's definitely true. I'm gonna turn auto battle off so y'all can see. So this game is kind of difficult. Okay, so Greymon is a virus, and virus defeats data, and data defeats vaccine, and vaccines defeat viruses, if that makes any sense. So that influences. So Shoutmon is data, so he's not going to be at an advantage, and all of these are data. Okay. Yeah.
Greymon, huh? I know their weak points. And now, take this! Huh? Strike roll!
Oh wow.
I'll make an opening for you. I'll set them up and you knock them down. I'm sensing a buildup of power.
Yeah, it is nice.
Another attack now? But I guess that's all just part of how they use their abilities. We'd be wise to assume the enemy will get a final move in at the end.
Okay. Okay, so Agumon is a vaccine. Greymon is a virus. Well, I think this is Greymon Blue. So, oh, this does 300%. So we're gonna do heavy strike. Just gonna. I think we can just auto. Oh no, we can't. No, we can't.
Please.
What's interesting is that when you play Pokemon and you use a potion or an item, that's your turn. But in this, it's not. Which is interesting. Okay, so I can't change to any of these. None of them. Yeah, why don't I try ice? Oh, ice. Okay.
The head turns this way? I don't like the look of this. Focus your attacks on their head and knock them off balance.
Okay. Once done charging, the enemy will unleash a special skill. When an enemy ends a charging state, it won't act because it is building a power, but it will be enhanced as it continuously connects. Okay. Okay. That gas came from the inner workings of my soul. Oh, I missed.
My turn. Strike roll.
Oh no.
Here comes a big one. Otherwise,
Oh.
Please. I'm counting on you. No!
strike roll.
Oh,
Please.
it's on hard mode, by the way. Oh, the attack has been reduced?
My turn. Strike roll.
Okay,
We did it.
finally. What's nice is that even if those Digimon die, they all still get experience.
Good. Now's our chance. Run. Lead the way.
Yeah, I got a job.
No clue where that is, but go on.
That human in the weird outfit quickly
No,
got
I
along
work in
with the phase
HR.
electron life form. Who or what is that?
We're playing Digimans. Because I feel like it. I should change the name of this stream to Mental Health plus Digimon.
That thing. Is that what I'm like too?
No, that's a monster.
Hey, agent. Huh? You're the one.
Okay, we're skipping this. This is boring to me. The story isn't. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, whatever. I don't care. A Digimon is able to Digivolve. Kudamon. Oh, okay.
Busy.
Okay. No, I do not want to talk to everybody more. Okay, so I got 35 points. Oh, nice. So now I can digivolve different Digimon. What the hell? Um, let's see what it changes into. Oh, wow. Oh, it went back to level. Oh, interesting. Level 1? It does that, but it keeps all of the... Oh, okay. Max SP... Max SP is 640 or greater, and the speed is 430. Okay. Maybe I will wait. Oh, that's cool. What the hell is that? Attack and spirit. Okay, let's do. Oh, I don't know. I want to see what this one is. Oh, I see. Okay.
So you really don't know anything about the...
Skip.
Sounds...
Am I allowed to go in here and just... Oh, cool. I can just go up in here and do a little train. Have a little fun. Is there anybody in here?
You got it.
Oh, I'm still not doing enough damage to these things?
Wow. That one.
I'm hungry, so...
Ready to go.
Heck yeah!
Oh no!
Ready to go.
My turn! Strike roll!
Run!
Do it. Ready to go. You got it. Preparations complete.
Heck yeah!
Great. Preparations complete.
Heck yeah!
That one. Preparations complete.
Strike roll!
Do it. Ready to launch.
Mm.
That one. Ready to go.
Heck yeah!
That one. Ready to go.
Heck yeah!
You got it. Preparations complete.
Strike roll! We did it!
I wonder. I'm gonna do something that might be not good, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay. I probably just did something I shouldn't have did, but I'm very curious.
Much appreciated.
Okay, let me go into, it's like some tutorials and then on training. Okay, so let's look at the bond. So 13%, 18%, 20%. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm really curious.
That one. Ready to launch.
My turn! Strike roll!
That one. Ready to go.
We did it!
What is this? Oh. We'll head to the train station in a second. I didn't know it led like that. Okay, okay, okay.
Do it. Preparations complete.
We did it!
You got it. Ready to go.
We did it!
I'm sorry. Everyone. That one. Preparations complete.
Strike roll! We did it!
Do it. Ready to launch.
My turn! Strike roll! Strike roll!
Hmm.
We did it!
Do it. Ready to launch.
Heck yeah!
There. Preparations complete.
Heck yeah!
There. Ready to launch.
My turn! Strike roll!
You got it. Ready to launch.
My turn! Strike roll! We did it!
That one. Preparations complete.
Heck yeah!
Great. Much appreciated.
Oh.
Ready to launch.
We did it!
There. Ready to go.
Heck yeah!
The hell is that? Okay. What can you digivolve into? Oh.
That one. Ready to launch. Here goes. Mega burst.
We did it!
Do it. Ready to go. Eat this. Eat this.
Heck yeah!
I was gonna man, been seeing quite a while since I popped in. I just saw you were streaming. I hope you got a. I didn't get a dev job. I got a human resources job. But thanks, I appreciate you. That's still good. Are you still working? No, I'm not working towards a software engineering position anymore. The hell? I'm trying to go into the more software. I'm trying to become an analyst, an HR analyst. So that involves some coding.
Do it. Preparations complete. Oh yeah.
Oof.
There. Ready to launch.
Heck yeah!
I'm sorry. Do it! Ready to go!
We did it!
That one! Preparations complete!
Oh yeah!
Great! Great! Wow! Great! I'm sorry. Everyone! Great. 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 Ready to launch.
Strike roll!
Eat this!
Galactic blade! Well, well.
Great.